Howdy folks, on today's episode of the BurstReview Takedown, we'll be taking a peek at Henry's Frontier Lever Octagon, chambered in .22 short, long, and long rifle. Alright, now the first thing you want to do, as with all firearms, is to ensure the weapon is unloaded. So to begin, we'll take the magazine tube, here, twist, and pull free. Set that aside. Next thing you want to do, flip it over, open the action by working the lever forward. Now visually inspect, and it is clear. Alright, the only tool you'll need for this disassembly process today is a flathead screwdriver. Let's begin. Okay, here's that flathead screwdriver we just talked about, and behind it is obviously the Henry. Let's get that in focus. There we go. Alright, to begin you want to remove the 4 screws securing the receiver plate to the receiver, located there, and on the opposite sides. Now it's important when picking a screwdriver to remove any sort of gunsmithing or any sort of finished screw, you either want to use a hollow ground gunsmithing screwdriver, or you want to wrap the blade of the screwdriver in painter's tape to prevent any sort of marring. Alternatively, you could be also, very careful, but that's your tempting fate. Now I use the screws, as you can see right there, the screws themselves to help fish out the bushing or the nut. But be careful, you don't want to scratch your brand new receiver. I tend to use these computer screwdrivers to help me remove these because I like to use my index finger, see, to secure it from rotating off of alignment along the Z and the X axis. Obviously the Y axis is secured by gravity. So let's flip it over. And oh yeah, keep these together or you will definitely lose them. Alright, so flip it over. Let me get that back on to frame here in a second. There we are. Okay, do the same for these 2 screws as well. This is basically just securing the plate to the receiver itself. There's that little nut being difficult. And always, like I said before, keep the screw and the nut together. It's a lot harder to lose it that way. But like I said before, use your hands to take the remaining pressure off the screws. Okay. Now that all the faceplate screws have been removed, you're going to be tempted to try to remove the receiver. You'll see, doesn't quite want to come off. So what you have to do first is remove the tang screw in the back. Right there, see it? Okay. So loosen that again, like I said before, with your screwdriver. And sorry it's out of focus, the depth of field is very, very shallow on this lens. Alright, there we go. Now you want to pull that buttstock straight off. Place the weapon down and remove that receiver plate straight off. Now you can see the bolt, hammer, and when I lift this bolt, there we are, you can see all the internals, including the feed ramp and chamber. Do not take it apart any further than this, unless you absolutely have to. And I would recommend Henry's own disassembly video if you were going to. It's really, really complex, and it's really easy to lose a lot of these small parts. Anyone who's ever taken apart a lever gun will tell you that it's a pain in the butt. So, all right, well, continuing on. Let me move my screwdriver, and there's the barrel. There's the barrel band, excuse me. So we'll remove that slowly, carefully. You'll notice that the barrel band is not plastic like on some of the earlier Henry models. It looks like steel, it could be aluminum. If it is aluminum, it's very pretty. So ease it off ever so slowly. There we are. Last thing you want to do is scratch the barrel. When you get to the end, you have to maneuver it around the front sight. See, tip it back, then forward, and clear. Good. The handguard slides directly off, exposing the barrel and the magazine tube. Alright, this is as stripped as you need to strip this gun down for proper cleaning, field maintenance, etc. Next, we'll put it back together. Alright guys, time for some reassembly. First thing you want to start off with, handguard. Slide it directly on there. And there's a little lip on the receiver. So it secures it right there, see? Then take the barrel band, maneuvering it in reverse over the front sight and the magazine tube and the barrel, and a little bit of effort to get it secured in there and lined up. Then, like I said before, start the screw with your hand, just so you don't scratch anything up. And once you get it 85% tight, then take your screwdriver and secure it. A thing to remember when you're doing this is it's not an M1 carbine. You're not going to get extra accuracy by gorilla tightening the hell out of it. So use some common sense. A lot of receivers have been scratched by people being overzealous with their tightening. Don't be that guy. I mean, unless you like that Battlefield pickup look. So, you know, basically make sure it's secure, but not gorilla secure. You should be all set. All right, moving back to the receiver. So we'll put the plate back on. And if you try to go on forward like that, it sometimes won't quite go on. So, after you replace the bolt, what you want to do, and make sure you line up the extractor with the extractor notch in the chamber, is I like to come down right above where the hammer is. You'll see, because if you go straight on, it won't come on. But right there, that little notch, that little angle, and slides right in. Perfect. It's a little easier in my opinion. I like to put like one receiver screw in right now, or one receiver frame plate, rather, screw in, just to secure it on there so it won't slide loose. That bolt has a little bit of weight behind it, and it can sometimes free the receiver plate on accident. So it's good to make sure you have something securing it. All right, next, slide in the butt. There we go. And once the slot is aligned, take that tang screw, start it by hand. This finish is fairly easily marred, so you want to be pretty careful. And there we go. Not super tight. I mean, it's a 22. It's not going to rock itself apart. Now you can install all these remaining plate screws. It's not like the bolts on like a tire or so. There's no order to it. You don't need to install them all by crisscrossing around the rim and then, you know, make sure you tighten them in a certain sequence. Just put them on there. And then, yep, finish them up with the screwdriver, flip it over, install the other two. There we go, yep, make sure that nut's on there. And there we go. One last. It's very, very easy to install these, so if one gives you resistance, you're doing it wrong. Back it out, and try again. You'll see right there, it's giving me a little bit of resistance. It almost doesn't look like it's out of alignment, but it is. So keep backing it up and eventually you'll get it. There we go. Now there's no resistance whatsoever. Goes in easy peasy. And do the final tightening with a screwdriver. And she's good. Finally, I'm going to reinstall the magazine tube. Slides right in. And there's a little notch in the front, which I'm sorry is off frame. You can see it there in the very bottom right corner, and click it into place. I like to cock it, making sure it's still clear, and then easing the hammer down. I know that it now all works. We are good. Congratulations, you've successfully disassembled and reassembled the Henry Frontier Octagon in 22 long rifle. Thanks guys, thanks for watching.